아무 개지.
Whoa.
Stream is starting, the Captain Coder at the helm. Bean water is ready. Today we will learn a lot. He loves the questions, he loves to sing. Join our Discord and follow him.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you happen to be in the world. I hope you're having a beautiful day out there. Welcome back to Captain Coder's Academy. I am Captain Coder. Captain Coder is me, and me is a computer science educator. I'm so happy to be here. Code Monk, congratulations on your first. I believe you got the first. I wasn't paying a close attention there. Yeah, Code Monk, welcome back. Nerd Waffle, congratulations on number 2. Marshall, thank you so much for the hat redeem. Let's get a hat added to this stack. There we go. There we go, Grumpy Game Dev. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for raiding me today, Grumpy. Thank you so much for the raid. It was so much fun hanging out on your stream, chasing buses, looking, exploring the world in overly, standard complex Unreal games. Complex, that's the right word I'm looking for? No, standard. Non-complex Unreal game engine builds. Mooniz, welcome back to the stream, my friend. Gotta keep that number. Dramulks, he's coming for you. He's coming for you, Mooniz. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Dramulks is coming for number 1. Dramulks, how you been, my friend? How's your game coming along? I hope it's going well. Captain Anosa, thank you for bringing your Crocs with you. So glad to have you here on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning, my friend. Great to see you. Sidian, welcome back to the stream as well. And the Grumpy Game Dev, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Folks, welcome back to the stream. What are we working on today? We are continuing our work on the Dungeon Crawler Jam 2024, folks. It's almost upon us. The time is nay. The time is nay. We're almost there. It's almost time for this dungeon. Is that the phrase? The time is nay. We got not enough time. No time. We only have 3 days, 5 hours, 55 minutes, and a little less than 55 minutes left to prepare for. Code Monk. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's no time. No time. We're working on our Dungeon Crawler Jam here. We've made some excellent progress. Let me show you what I got so far. Let's restart this server here. So here's what we have thus far. Is that gonna open? There it is. Okay. So you can move. Look at us move. Look at us go. You can move. There's a door here. You can't see it, but there's a door here, I promise. You can trigger scriptable events. The smell veil surrounds you. We have global state. These are events that happen when you move around. We have a terminal where we can send commands to the game. So, for example, here's the thing that I really like that I did. What was it? Context.change dungeon. People who never played old school, I know Dramulks, everyone's like, why am I teleporting? It's like, I guess I need to make it not 3D. And we might have to switch to 2D tile set so it doesn't look like you're teleporting. Or so people will stop saying, why am I teleporting? They'll be like, oh, this game isn't 3D, this is a 2D game. That's what we gotta do. But we can change the dungeon here, so I can go to, random is the name of a dungeon here. I'm at position 7, 7, and east. Boom, dungeon loaded. I know it doesn't look like much, but we just loaded into a new dungeon here. We can context.set wall none. We can turn walls on and off. Turn them on. New dungeon, trust me, bro. I know it's a little bit hard, but our scripts will let us do things like teleport the player around to new places, move around in the dungeon. There's quite a bit left to do. What I want to work on today, what I want to try and finish today, my coffee tastes kind of weird. I'm a little worried about that. Maybe I shouldn't be drinking my coffee. Graham, welcome to the stream. Why are you trying to trick us? With your message deleted emote /me? Graham, welcome to the stream, my friend. It's great to have you here. We are working on this particular one. It's been on here for a while. Dungeon walls need to be able to have different textures. Is this the one I have checked out here? Dungeon tiles should be able to have different textures. Oh, 68. It should be 29. Interesting. Dungeon walls need to have different textures. Did I make a second one for this? Dungeon tiles. Oh, I want to be doing dungeon walls. That's okay. It's all sort of message expunged. Even better. Gotta expunge those messages. Scrub them away. Make them turn into dust. We are going to be adding in textures. So here's my idea for this one. So I have this texture type. It's just going to be a byte array of data. We need to do a little bit of prototyping in Unity first because I want to be able, we're going to serialize a texture to a JSON file. I know it's going to be a little bit weird, but I want to be able to serialize this byte array to a base64 encoded string, and then deserialize it in Unity, or in my engine essentially, as a PNG that we're going to use as a texture. We're going to put that on a wall dynamically. So we're going to look and see if we can get that done today. That's the plan, at least. So to do this, I need to get myself a little bit of a wall texture first to do it. Can't you just read in images from disk? I can't, because it's going to be in a web browser. It's going to be WebGL. It's going to be WebGL. I also want to pack all this stuff together. So it's going to be WebGL based. So I need a way to get this into the project. I guess I could just read it from disk, but I'm building a game engine essentially. It's game engine. People these days think game engine means Unity or Unreal. I'm building an engine for creating dungeon crawler games. And that engine looks like this. I'll show you what that looks like. Come on. It's gonna build, it's gonna run, we're gonna check it out. It's building, I think. I don't know what's happening here. There it goes. There it goes. Come on. I believe in you, .NET. It's grumpy because Unity's taking up all the resources, all the sources, all the resources. All right. It's built. I promise something's happening. Here it goes. Here it goes. All right. So I've been making this tool to create a dungeon crawler. So if I go into my dungeon editor here, I have my different world maps. Yes. So Graham, I want to be able to do the following. So the user does this. It's going to be all self-contained in a single file that is like a dungeon pack. Okay, so we come in here. I want to be able to say, oh, this wall I'm looking at, press a button, set the texture on that wall. There it goes, it loaded. Set the texture on that wall. And then that's going to be stored into a manifest with us. So we're going to have a set of textures that we can use throughout our game. And then in the script, we can basically dynamically change the texture. So when the game loads up, it's going to turn those into Unity textures dynamically when we run. Yeah, in the Tritium Assets file, I loaded the texture dynamic from that path. Yes, so my engine is going to be just on the web, and the person's going to upload a single compressed JSON file. It's going to be a JSON file that's zipped. They're going to upload that to this web page, and then it's going to load, and we're going to be able to play from there. So you don't have to, you don't have to read it from disk because there is no disk. It's all one big file line. It's Hap. Welcome back. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Lance, thank you for the hat, Redeem. Let's get a hat added to the stack. Boom, I didn't hear the sound. I wonder why, what's going on with that. All right, so here we are. I want to play around with here. I'm sure it happened. It's just quiet. My audio's, when I turn my volume up and down, I'm not seeing it on my screen. Like, stop. Go away. It's okay. My headphones have been acting a little bit weird lately. Anyway, that's okay. I don't know what volume. My shocks are just quiet. That's weird. That's super weird. What the heck's going on with this? I just turned up my volume all the way. Very weird. All right, we'll go with that. Where's my mixer? All right, I think I'll be able to hear him now. For some reason, my volume mixing is all wonky. Very weird. Bought some shocks and they're way too loud. Did you turn them down? You can turn them down. They have a volume button on them. Goes up and down. They work really well. Mine work really well. Hang on, I gotta check something here real quick. Okay, not important. All right, we're gonna continue on here. I want to, first thing I want to do is I want to read in a texture. I just want to write a little program to take in a texture, serialize that texture out. So one of the things I want to be able to do is take this byte array, turn it into a base64 array. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a texture. We're gonna get a texture. I can use the default texture we have. It's massive though. I want to get a lighter texture or a smaller texture. Because we're gonna be using smaller textures. Let me see if I can find just a, I guess we could just use it. Hang on. I want to have a different texture. I'll be able to see the difference. Is there a texture? I know that there is a texture generator. I don't know how I feel about it completely. We could also just go download. Let's do smaller textures here, because these are going to be essentially going to end up being pixel-based textures. Graham with the 5,000 points, not bad. Number 9, congratulations. Well, G, it's great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And Mick Nets, welcome back to the stream. Sorry if I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little out of it. I didn't realize how out of it I was feeling until this moment. Reading the chat. We'll see how things go today. If things seem a little bit off, I think we adopted a new dog on Sunday. And so that has a little bit, I'm sure it has a little bit to do with it. Let's go with a stone. I was going to have a stone texture. My dog, the dog we're doing a trial run with her, so we have a dog already. Dusty's the dog we've had for years. We want to get Dusty this is hilariously bad. We're going to try this texture here. We adopted a German Shepherd. We've had her since Sunday, so we're giving her the trial run, seeing how it goes. This texture is not what we want. But we're gonna download this one. This is not the greatest wall texture, but we're gonna go for it. Where's the download button? There it is. Give me a second here. I already have an account. There we go. That's super weird. It doesn't let me log in. Hang on, I'm gonna have to regenerate. Try again. Stone. I should have done stone wall. Sidrin, welcome back to the stream. Great to have you here. Graham with the second. Well, it's just they're all the same command, Graham. They all do the same thing. It's just Sidrin, welcome to the stream. I'm glad you're here. 100. I know I ran. Look, I'm not that clever. I'm not that clever. All right. We're going to try again, see if it'll let me log in over here. There it goes. It wasn't letting me log in before. Continue. There it goes. All right, so I got this file downloaded. Allow. Okay, we're going to take this texture. So there's some things that are interesting about the texture in that there's an image, there's the albedo, there's displacement, there's normal. We're gonna go with just the albedo for our purposes. And there's gonna be some stuff that we're not gonna deal with the normal maps and stuff for now. We might introduce that later. For the GAM this year, I don't think it's going to be super important to have. Maybe we will. Let me put a little thing here. Enhancement. Consider adding displacement normals, displacement, and so height and normal map to textures. So we'll consider that later. That wouldn't be that hard to add, but then we have a couple extra things to do. Sidrin with the hat redeemed. Thank you so much for the hat redeemed. Let's get a hat added to that stack. Itap with the hat redeem as well. Let's get another hat added to the stack. Here we go. Here we go. Boom. Thank you for the hats. Thank you for the hats, everybody. Awesome. Got the good old double, the old double. So I wanted to come into my save data here, and I'm going to create a new, inside of my test folder, we're going to have textures, and we're going to have to add this to the manifest creation process as well. I'm going to add this albedo in here, and I'm just going to call this stone, hang on. I'm going to call this one stone wall. And maybe I should just do this from my console. I'm going to move it here actually. My program, what I want to do is I want to serialize. I want to create this texture. Okay, so new texture, stone wall, and then the byte data. I need to read this from the data, and then I'm going to serialize this. Or she, how you been, my friend? Stone wall. So we got to read this from a file, and I can't remember how to do that. Ronti, also welcome to the stream. How you been, my friend? It's great to have you here. I hope you've been wonderful. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm having a beautiful day. I hope everyone else is having a beautiful day. Take this stone wall. I want to load this from file, so I need to get like a byte stream. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember how to do this. C# byte stream from byte array from file. Convert a byte, or I want to read all bytes. Okay, this is what I want. File.read all bytes. Beautiful. So it's going to end up being file.read all bytes stone wall.png, like this. I can't believe it's Tuesday. I know it's crazy. It's crazy, right, Lance? And then I want to do a serialization. I want to take this. I want to serialize it to JSON. I plan to make it a base64 encoded byte string when we turn it to JSON. So we'll have to look into that. So this would be our JSON extensions not exception, JSON extensions. Ooh, we're not using that package here yet. All right, so we need to, in our console project, it's just our test project here. .NET add reference to our dungeoncrawler.io. Defaults die. I can't believe it's not butter. It's true. It's true. Can you believe it's not butter? It's VS Code. But it's like butter. It's smooth like butter. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Happy to have you here on this beautiful day. I've had an unexpected night off, so I'm not working. It has mucked everything up. Oh, you can't believe it's Tuesday. Tuesday, butter, same difference. Okay, so now I can do JSON extensions dot to JSON stonewall. So this is going to take our thing. It's going to turn it to a string JSON, and I want to serialize this out to disk. And so then I'm going to do file.write all text. It's going to be our stonewall.json. And we're going to end up packaging a bunch of these together, but I want to be able to take this file, put it into Unity, and use that to render a texture. So I haven't done this before, but I want to be able to turn it in to a texture from Unity. So deserialize this, get a texture back, and then use that texture in Unity. So let's just do a quick run here in our console.net run, see if we get a stonewall.json. We do. All right, look, there we go. Oh, cool. It did do it the way I wanted it to. It automatically did it to a base 64 string. It looks hideous, but it's going to end up being compressed. I did some research. It turns out if you take byte data, base 64 encoded, it is wasting space. But then if you compress it, it's only about 2% more space than raw byte data. The other option is to come up with a data type that is just a pure serialized data form. But I want to package all of my textures together. So this is sort of my plan to do this. We're going to take this stone wall. I'm going to add it into Unity. I'm really glad it did this byte array this way by default. I wasn't sure what the default behavior was going to be. Very cool to see. BK, welcome back to the stream. How you doing, my friend? Redston, welcome back, my friend. You got 21,000 points. Redston, how you doing? It's wonderful to have you here. All right, let's come into our data. Text walls, rugs. It's true. We got them text walls. Pedota, welcome to the stream. Use some modern format like WebP or AVIF. Can I store that in JSON? That's the question. Can I easily store that in JSON? Can I take a WebP or an AVIF, store it in JSON, and then also actually, you know what? I could. Here's the problem. Unity load image to bytes from bytes. Not a mod. He's the best mod in all the lands. Here's why. This needs to be a PNG or JPEG. That's why. So that's actually the real reason. Is I already looked there and we needed a PNG or JPEG. He's not a mod, so he can't be the best. It's not true. Redston is the best mod. He's such a good mod, he doesn't even need the status. It's great to see you, beautiful people here. Let me ask you, Pudota, do you know, and I don't know, oh, maybe this is an old documentation. Hang on, this is super old. It shouldn't be a texture. Hang on. It's something, I could be wrong. We might be able to load this using that type of format. We'll find out when we get into Unity. Let's go to our Unity project here. We're gonna take our stone wall. I was gonna create a folder here. It's gonna be our texture data. I don't use using, I was just asking, yeah, so there's a lot of things we could do to be more impressive. I don't know enough about WebP formats. Are they super like compressed or anything like that? What's the benefit of a WebP over a PNG? Just curious, if anyone knows this. Redston, I'm sorry if you've been offended. We love you, Redston. Have our stone wall here. Let's come back into our code. I need a way to load this thing up. So we're gonna close all of these. In our Unity code. All right, so in our Unity code, I want to deserialize and attach it to I need to create a material and a texture for it. Graham, my plan is to build an engine that I can use for the jam. That's exactly right. How could you not? It's true, Redston. You're the of all the people out there who are amazing. You're the most amazingest of those amazing people. Yeah, so I'm just getting my engine together so when the game jam comes around, I can pretend that I have an engine and can focus. And so I'm pretending like I'm going to be able to just use this engine in the game jam, but in reality, it's going to be a scramble and hack all together at the end anyway. An engine to use ists. Proton. Default, I don't understand the question. Could you try asking again? I feel like there's a letter missing there or something. All right, so in my Unity project, I need to create a new file, texture loader. I probably shouldn't call this, my type there, texture, is probably incorrect. Yeah, so, but here's sort of what I want. I need to have a namespace captaincoder.dungeoneering. What namespace was my texture in? Dungeoneering. All right, .unity. Okay. Public class Texture data. This needs to be a scriptable object. It needs to have a text asset on it. What's the elevator pitch of what you're doing? Gotcha. The elevator pitch. We are implementing a tool for creating classic blobber dungeon crawler games. So first-person grid-based dungeon crawlers. We are building an engine to be able to create games that operate similar to the old school games here. What I am doing right now, I'm using C#. The language, the engine I'm using, it has Lua scripting. So you script in the tool with Lua. The project is written in C#. And so the editor is written in C#. The engine that runs the game is Unity. Mostly because of Unity. That's a good question. I also just kind of like C# as a big part of it. So it's a learning project for myself. Let me know if you have more questions. I love the questions. So this is going to be a scriptable object. Create asset menu, file name, texture data, and then menu name is going to be data/texture data, like that. You're making the engine with Unity. Unity is the renderer for the engine for now. The data itself should be agnostic. The game and the thing that runs the game is Unity at the end of the day. You could take all of the data and move it anywhere. So the game itself, it's just an abstraction, it's right. So that's where it's bound. eWriter, exactly. So all of this here, the dungeon crawler, isn't actually built into Unity. There's just one little module down here for Unity that interacts with the dungeon crawler code. And so it's for loading it in and then rendering. And then Unity is sort of like the controller/renderer, because I don't want to write a 3D. The biggest thing is I want to be able to deploy it on web, and Unity makes it really easy to deploy the project to the web. I don't have enough knowledge to write a 3D render, that type of thing for the web. We could do it in Blazor or something, or use EmScriptIm. I'm not sure exactly what we could do, but we could do it some other ways. Unity is the way I happen to know to make web-based games currently, and do it pretty easily. I've only been using Unity for about 2 years now, a little bit less than 2 years. But it's what I happen to know. We're going to have this be a text asset. Thank you for the Sidrin. Text asset. This is going to be our file, JSON data. Get private set. I guess I could just do get set on it. Get private set equals default. Field serialized field here. I don't have to do that. Oh, I do have to do that. All right, there we go. Okay. Redmer, welcome back to the stream. Redmer, I hope you have a beautiful day. We got our fancy mug today. Fancy mug. Okay, so I want to be able to take this and produce a material from this JSON. So at the end of the day, I want to be able to take this, produce a material, and then be able to attach that material to an object. That's sort of my dream here. Material, make material. So we have this JSON data here. We're gonna load in this. We're gonna get the texture, and then we're gonna create a material from it. And I've never done this before. So there's gonna be a trick here. I'm not entirely sure what we're gonna do. Default says, I'm still pretty new to engine development. I recently started my own, but I've been learning a lot prior to me starting. I haven't heard of someone doing this before. Not that means much. This is my first time doing it. I am really quite new. I will say I'm really quite new to game development. I've only been doing game development for about 2 years. I started last January, really digging into making games and understanding it. I have years of programming experience before that. This book has been super cool. Jason Gregory's Game Engine Architecture. This isn't a book about Unity or Unreal. It's a book about taking a game, building an engine for a specific game and making it kind of modular, how you could go about doing that. I've been learning a ton from this book. I got it a couple weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago. I've been reading through it, and this has really informed how I'm designing a lot of these things for my dungeon crawler engine. It's been pretty cool. Gotcha. I think this book is fantastic. I think it's a very, very good book. Okay, so make material here. I need to figure out how to make a material. Hardcover, yeah, I like physical books. I think we do new like this. Is this, no, we can't do a new. We have to give it a shader. Okay, there's shader dot default. Okay, let's look at how we make, we could also potentially have it passed in here. Here we'll do public shader, default shader. Was there a shader.get shader? Shader.get shader? No. Thought I saw a get shader somewhere. Default shader. We'll make this a thing that we'll set elsewhere because I don't know how to construct that. But for now, field serialized field here of our default shader. So we'll create this material. Is the project on GitHub? Yes. Everything I do, not everything, most of the things I do are open source. You can find them on GitHub here. Let me pin that to the top. I usually pin this at the top. This project's open source. You can, if you'd like to, you can open issues, make pull requests. No promise that I'll accept them, but feel free to do so. I'm trying to make my projects in a way that people can interact with them this way. That said, this is a very young project. Biffles, welcome back to the stream, and Kilted Ninja, great to see you again. Biffles says, I like physical books. It's such a 1900s thing to say. That's fair. That's fair. R2 Assassin, great to have you here. 1 second. R2 Assassin, let me give you permission. It just thinks you're a bot since you're new here. There you go. New material, shader.find standard. Let me fix that for you. Sorry. We get bots coming in a lot, so you have to have like been here for an hour, like in the chat for an hour, and then it won't block you. Feel free to copy paste that. I don't know if it deleted it for you. I can copy paste it for you actually. Here we go. You should be able to hear an hour. I know, a whole hour. There we go. So Assassin said, I think this works. New. Oh, let's try that. New shader.find. Oh, nope, no find. Maybe I'm doing something wrong here. I'm just gonna pass it in this way. I'm just prototyping right here. An hour on Twitch is an eternity anywhere else. That's true. That's true. Shader.find. Thank you. Standard. I think you're right. So this is gonna pull it out there. Okay, we'll try this. We'll see if we can get this to work. I want to, at the end of the day, we're gonna return this material. Material.al, how do I set the albedo? All right, so I wanna be able to create, how do I set the albedo of a main texture? I bet it's this. Main texture equals texture. So we're gonna have to create that as well. Okay, so I believe it's gonna be texture equals, for now, let's do that. Oh, that's not what we need. What is the type of main texture? Unity engine.texture. I think this is using Unity engine.texture. And we're gonna have to load this from our byte data here. Now on Twitch and eternity anywhere else. That's probably also Unity engine.texture. Is there a load? So I want to load this from a file. I'm hoping this is the albedo. I honestly am not sure. Yeah, so let's see if we can look that up. Load texture from bytes from file Unity. Texture.load is a thing? I thought I tried that. Oh, it's just Unity engine.texture.load. It's not. There's a texture 2D.load. No, there isn't. No, as it texture. All right, so we can do this. You're saying I can do texture.load. So Unity engine.texture is texture. Yeah, capital key. So it's confused because I have a thing called texture in my project. So I'm doing Unity engine. I have to do Unity engine.texture to access that namespace. .load doesn't seem to be an option here. It has texture2d.load image, it seems to think, but this is a really old one. Let's look at texture API Unity. Let's go look at the texture API. We're in the latest version. Load. Let's see if we can find a load. What are our methods? Don't surround load, operator. Really, normally you load it as any normal object. Oh, is it, I have a byte array. So I'm loading it from a byte array. So I'm going to end up with something like this. Thank you for the whoa.
Pay attention.
Thank you for the doy. Thank you for the hey. Thank you for the cloud, JD. JD going off. Thank you for the sus. Going crazy out there. Thank you for all the animations. So I'm going to end up with a Captain Coder texture loaded. It's going to be our JSON data. So we're going to have JSON extensions dot load model. It's going to be a Captain Coder texture. See, this is where I need a different name, I think. JSON. So I think I should call it JSON data.text. Okay. So I'm going to end up with this thing here. Let's rename this so there's not a conflict. This is going to be a dungeon crawler texture. But like the namespace should be able to do that for us, right? So I could swap this out. So I'm doing a cabinet texture. You should have a load, but you need to create a texture first. Do I need, so let's take a look here. Texture 2D. New texture with height. Then what if I don't know the height ahead of time? That's included in the, I want to load it from a PNG image. Okay. I don't necessarily have the width and height ahead of time. Load raw texture data static create external. Nice try, Graham. It will resize it automatically, I think. So I said there works, just tested, but you need the width height first. Let's think here. It's not actually a texture 2D. Hang on, let's go into Unity. Let's look at this real quick. How are these saved? Are these saying they're texture 2Ds? Okay, they are texture 2Ds. Okay. Congratulations on number 16, JD. Can't you get a size of it from Windows thing? I could. It would be easier in my mind if I didn't have to know the size ahead of time, right? So I have all the bytes of the PNG. Shouldn't it know it? Thank you for the link, Unity Coder. Let's take a look. You're saying it just loads it automatically. Load image byte. So this is image conversions. Okay, image conversions. Texture 2D, the texture to load the image into. Okay, all right, let's try this. So we have to have, is this a class? Is texture, all right, so we need a new texture to start out. New texture. What's the constructor for this look like? Oh, it needs to be a texture 2D. Okay. Do that. So it's a texture 2D. walks in. Welcome back to the stream. Unity Coder, thank you so much for that link. Thank you, everyone. All right, so many people are helping out here. We're gonna give everyone 125 points. Thank you guys so much for the assistance here. Okay. So we have our texture 2D. Then I want to do image conversions. Where is this file? This data type, image conversion dot load image. This is part of image conversion module. So I'm gonna have to add this into my project. Exclamation point, be unhelpful. It happens. Folks, did you know? Do you guys know JD, by the way?
If you want to feel
you don't know JD,
like you're talking with Captain,
he's also a Twitch streamer.
If I could do my
he does dev, he does sax, he does it all. He does impressions.
But my eyebrows also move in a way like the Captain.
Right, so we're gonna have to add this in as a dependency to our project here. So let's go find that real quick. I can never remember the path here. So I need to come here. Boop, give me a second. Too much. This is where we get our DLLs. We're managed DLL here. This is Unity Image Conversion Module. So we got to bring this into our project. Image conversion. So we have our image conversion module. We're going to add that into our managed libraries here. Reveal this file in the Explorer. All right, so I have our managed libs. We have our Unity module. We're going to add this in here. So now we have that separate. All right. Then our dungeon crawler Unity, we need to have a reference to that lib. Unity engine.image conversion module. By the way, if I was doing this in Visual Studio or Writer, there's a nice UI for doing what I'm doing right now. I'm in Visual Studio Code, so I have to kind of manually do some of this stuff. All right. I think I got to do a .NET build. Really need to do a .NET restore. I'm in the wrong folder, by the way. That's okay. Looks like it's going to trigger all of it anyway. And now I should have image conversion. Hang on. Nope. CD. Let's do a .NET build here. Using. Do I have to do using? Could not resolve the reference. Oh, I have spelled something incorrectly. Hang on. Unity engine. Let's copy the name here. It's Unity engine. There we go. I do get in trouble at work more than anything. Now resolve. Unity image conversion module.dll. There we go. Doing this by hand is painful, folks. Okay. So now we have our image conversion dot load image. We're gonna do the texture here. Oh, it has to be a texture 2D, so we'll keep that as a texture 2D. We don't need that on that side. Texture, and then it'd be loaded dot data. And we're gonna return that material. So we're gonna be able to make this material. We're gonna return it, and then I want to attach it to a game object so we can see that. So we're getting close. Next, let's add in a mono behavior. Public class test mono b. So I guess I could just make this. This could be a mono behavior, and we're gonna have some object that we're gonna attach to it. Yeah. So let me go into Unity real quick. Let me create a game object. We're gonna attach this thing to that game object. Test element here. And let's go ahead and just add in on this test element. We're gonna add in a cube. You're so far away. Oh, I'm in 2D land. That's what's going on. All right, 2D land. And I want to set the texture on this. So it's going to be part of our mesh renderer. Okay. So is that right? Do we set it using the mesh renderer? So mesh renderer, and then we put the material. We attach the material here. So I need a mesh renderer. Hero Fox, congratulations on number 17, my friend. Welcome back to the stream. So public mesh renderer. That equals default field, serialized field, and make material in our public void awake. We'll do renderer dot material equals make material. Okay, this is our test. Let's build this. We'll put this into Unity. We'll attach this to an object. We'll give it our JSON data. Should make a new scene for this. I'm gonna make a scene. There's something going on. File not found. Could not find. What is this complaint? Where is this even coming from? Interesting. It is complaining. Could not find the managed library. Yeah, I might need. So the interesting part is, I must have something slightly incorrect here. I think the file structure is incorrect. So check it out. It is there. Open file location. Let's see what it's saying. Where is it looking? Data managed Unity engine. Unity engine.image conversion module. Unity engine dot. It's where. Oh, I moved. Oh, you know what? It's because I moved it. I didn't copy it. I moved it. Oh my goodness. How to break your Unity install, folks. Don't do this. Terrible rookie move. Indeed, Graham. Exactly. Rookie move. I moved it out of there. Oh my goodness. Unity engine. That's a terrible idea. There we go. Meant to copy it over. Okay. Let's come back in here. Oh my goodness. I might have to restart Unity. I think I triggered something terrible. All right, let's restart our project. We have to relaunch Unity here. I really messed that up. Oops. Okay, let's give it a second here to load. Bear with me, folks. Grab your bear with me. We're loading it back in. Gonna take another looky-loo. All right. We can do it. Just gotta believe. Do you believe? You know, one thing I really like about Godot is how fast it opens. One thing I really like about working on a small Raylib project is how fast it launches. One thing I dislike about Unity is how long it feels like it takes. That wasn't too bad. Okay. It's a little bit painful if you have to read your mind. Wind of Flatus, welcome back to the stream. Yeah, I really want Godot C# builds. I'm looking forward to November, supposedly. Later this year, I'm looking forward to Godot hopefully getting the ability, it's going to come down to how .NET 9 looks, getting the ability to do web builds with C# in Godot 4. Unity gives you plenty of time to contemplate what you're about to do. Ah, exactly. One thing, yeah, it's true. All right, so I'm going to actually I'm going to create a new scene here called my test cube scene. Test load texture. Good question, Graham. So that is because this is a property. So because it's a property, we have to add a field here to say, hey, by the way, use the backing field, not the, if I put just serialize, it wouldn't show up. It's because I'm using properties. Good question. Slow and steady wins the reach. Reach for it. Yeah. So if I was using just a field, I would do that. All right, so here's our cube. Let's add this new script. This was our text, what did I call this thing? Texture data? What a weird name for a thing. Texture data here. Our JSON data, let's pull this out in a window here. Let's take our texture data, our stone wall. We're gonna add that in here. The renderer is ourself, okay. Will it build? Will it run? Will it blow up? Will it implode? We'll find out next time. Hey, look at us go. We did it, folks. All right, so we have a path forward. We did a quick prototype to see if we have a path forward. We can load our texture from a JSON file. So that means that we can have a texture manifest that we specify outside of the project, pass that in to the Unity. Unity will load all of our textures up, and then we'll be able to set the walls in our game based on files that are provided by the user. There's a little bit of probably a little bit of a caveat to that, where, you know, our material that we've produced is really interesting. In I'll usually do some stuff like this. We'll add in some smoothness. So we're just using like the standard shader, standard render stuff. So our ability to modify that outside of the engine is quite limited actually. But we do have the ability to do that. So this is our little prototype that we have working now. So now what I want to do, let me do a commit here. .NET format. This is just a little bit of a prototype that we've put together. And so I'm going to commit this as a chore so I don't lose progress here. It's not the final implementation, but we can do a partial commit, git add, git commit -m chore, implement texture loading prototype. Now we can start working on what does the process look like in our engine for compiling these things. So our dungeon crawler manifest has these things. It has dungeons. It's gonna have our dungeons, scripts, textures. We'll be able to specify these in our editor. I want to consider and think about the following. I want there to be sort of a default wall texture that we use, and a default floor texture. Let's focus on just doing the walls first. I want to focus on just doing walls. In my editor, I want to think about how I want to be able to specify the texture as well. In my project selector, so if we go into our dungeon editor, I'm pretty sure what I want this to look like is the dungeon itself will have a default wall texture, default floor texture. So if you don't specify one, it uses the default one. If you do specify one, on our wall here, it'll have a wall texture and it'll just say default. And then we need a button you can press. So for example, with my scripts, I press a button and I can specify, I can add scripts here. For my walls, I need to have another button as well. So maybe, you know, I'm not sure what button it's going to be. We'll press a button and we'll get a menu that looks like this that says set texture. And then you can navigate through the existing textures, select them from the list. The textures will come from anything inside of the textures folder, and you'll be able to select from those textures. We're probably gonna end up needing to navigate, have more complexity inside of there. Inside of our textures, have textures and have multiple different ones, but that's the plan as of right now. Okay, so to do this, I need to update my my project. Where is it? It's in Dungeon Crawler. Where? Oh, editor. Here we go. Editor. Our project. Is that right? Let's look for project. Project here. We want to do something similar to what we've done for get dungeon paths, get texture paths. And when we build, the build now needs to produce those textures in our project. So it needs to take those textures, merge them in. So let's add that into our test here. So this is going to be project should. Okay. And the things it should do, the project directory structure now needs to include a textures folder. So I'm going to add in here a new constant, public const string texture, textures, like this. And when we validate the project, we now need to have a texture directory as well. This is going to be our texture path, like this. And then we want to validate that texture path is a directory. So when we call initialize project, it needs to actually generate that folder for us. Okay. In our mock file system, we need to add in some mock texture files as well. Oh, this is interesting. Can I? Apparently I did that earlier and didn't realize it. Textures path. Textures. Okay. Let's add in texture path. We're going to add in a stonewall.png, and then we'll create a new mock file data, and then this is just going to be some stonewall data. Okay, we'll add in another texture here, wood door png, wood door. This is just a mock object, like so. Okay, so we initialize the project structure, validate the project directory, invalidate non-project directory, throws an IO exception if the existing project is still there. So receive all dungeon names and paths. That's good. Retrieve all script names. Build dungeon manifest with dungeons and scripts. So we need, with dungeon scripts, we're going to add a new one here. Dungeon scripts, dungeons. We could also update dungeons, scripts, and textures. Okay. So this is going to get longer as we add. Textures might be the last thing we add. I don't think so just yet. I think we're going to end up adding in items monsters, and like magic. So there's going to be 3 more types of things. So this is going to get kind of long and tedious to continue growing. So it might actually make sense to say build dungeon manifest with, and then just have dungeons. Build dungeon manifest with scripts. Build dungeon manifest with. Is anyone else triggered by textures? Did I do textures somewhere? Oh, okay. You're just saying we're working on our textures. It's our test fixtures. Build dungeon manifest with. This will just test that it builds it with our textures. Okay. Make project. Yes. Okay. Make project file system. Okay, here we go. This one now, so this isn't going to quite work because I need to make a specific project that only has those things. Could check the equality of the built dictionary. Dungeons, scripts, build dungeon manifests. We're just gonna call it this, and we don't need to do that. Okay. There's one more thing, expected. Can I specify byte data in a mock file? Is there a constructor with bytes? There is. Okay, so I can just specify a byte array. 0, 1, 2. We'll turn that into a byte array. 1, 2, 2, 7, 8. So this needs to be a byte array at the end of the day. This might be not necessary. Okay, cool. So this is going to be our byte array. Mock file data, mock file data. When we construct this thing, this will start. Okay. Expected dot add texture stone wall. I'm wondering if we remove the. Oh, this just takes in a texture. New texture, like this. I want to import that differently. Why did it do the full namespace? That was interesting. Okay, this will be stone wall. And then the data should be 0, 1, 2. The equality check on this probably needs to be updated as well. We'll find out. Textures should be equal. I have to write a test for our textures. When they have the same internal data, they should have an equality check that passes. Okay. So we'll add that test as well. So this is our new test for our project. We're going to have a new structure. So we should get some failures. If I run this and we build it up, we're going to get some failures now because we haven't implemented these things. Or maybe not. Did I? Dungeon should. So this should be project should. Yeah, everything kind of fails now. And an item with the same key has already been added. Let's look at what I've done incorrectly here. Hang on, that one's interesting. I don't understand why that one fails. Many of these shouldn't fail. I don't quite know why. All right, let's go one at a time here. Whew. An item with the same name are get scripts names. We could debug and step into it and see what happens here. Oh, it's happening in make file system. Should be true. I'm slightly confused. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. R2 Assassin, you just saved me a lot of pain. R2 Assassin, 100 points. Thank you so much for that. Whew. I bet I looked really confused. I was like, what's going on? It's right there in front of you. This is where, thank you so much. This is why I love live coding. It's the ultimate pair programming experience. All right, initialize is not working here. How is build passing? That doesn't make sense to me. This test should be failing because my equality check on my dungeon crawler manifest is incorrect. Yeah, so my equality check and textures.all key values are equal other.textures. See, this is why I wrote those tests. Now I have a quick way to check some stuff here. We also are going to have I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do a thing here called texture equality. Texture equality, because we're going to do an equatable t1 t0 dot equals t1. Right, so this should start, more things should start failing here. And we can go into our dungeon. There we go. Dungeon crawler manifest needs a new test. Dungeon crawler manifest should. In this equality check, we need to add in at least manifest dot add texture. I should have written these first. Now my code's gonna be sketchy. Wall texture. Actually, it's just gonna take in a texture here. New texture wall. 1, 2, 3. And this will tell us whether or not this equality check works on byte arrays. I'm assuming not. Yeah, byte array texture doesn't work here. So let's add a textures test as well. Texture should. And there's basically one thing in here. There's two things. The serialization I kind of already know works. But a test here to make sure it can be serialized and deserialized is important, but the equality check is going to be important here. I'm gonna still the start of this. We're gonna have texture should. And our textures should be equal. Be equal, equatable. Okay. And what I want to do is we're gonna take two, we need to be able to construct them and then not equatable. So there's two here, public void, not, should be equatable, not. The method I want to check is checking that two textures that have this same name but different contents are not the same, not equal here. Be equal. All right, so two textures that are constructed separately. So I have a texture T0 equals new texture stone wall 1, 2, 3 T1 1, 2. Okay, so I can actually make this a theory. String name byte array byte. I wonder if it'll let me do this here in our inline here. Inline data wall 1, 2, 3. It's gonna tell me that this. I think it's gonna tell me that this has to be a new byte array. Can I do this? Close. Okay, cool. Could I do it? I really want to do 1, 2, 3. I can't. Okay. All right. So now I can do it for a couple different ones. Just give myself a little bit. Another stone. 7, 1, 19, 0, 5, 92, 7. All right. Bytes. All right. So we're going to construct a texture. Texture T0 equals new. Name bytes. Texture T1 equals new. Name bytes. And then we'll do T0 dot should be T1. They should be equatable. Okay. And then the not equal down here, we'll have two different ones that aren't equal, and check to make sure that we're not just false positiving and returning true all the time. String name 0 byte array bytes 0 name 1 bytes 1. And we'll take this and this will be our simple test here. Give ourselves some confidence. It's gonna work. Texture T0 new name 0 bytes 0 and our T1 name 1 bytes 1. We're going to check that these are should not be T1. All right. Feels pretty good. Make sure we build. And then we're going to run it here. Well, I might have needed to hit refresh to get that to pop up. Yes, texture should interesting. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Texture. Okay, this equality check. I'm surprised this works. T0 dot equals T1. That should be true. These byte arrays must have identical addresses. We need a copy. It needs to be a separate bytes 1. Equals, we need to make a copy of bytes. I think they're pointing to the same exact array in memory. There we go. Okay. It's not that I'm glad I know enough to know that this should have been failing. The fact that it was passing was super interesting. And it's because the equality check on this array, because they was the same exact array. Yes, Mab, I'm glad I was smart enough to see that. That would have been a really, really bad problem down the line. I want the actual check-in to be identical. We're really not going to be calling this equals method very often. Only during our test, essentially. I want to make sure my tests work. And we're not gonna, it's like, this doesn't get hashed or anything. Exactly, Smab, exactly. Okay. So now let's make our texture here. We need to equatable on another texture. This is just to, I don't actually need to put this here because we get it for default from a record, but I'm putting it there to remind myself that I'm overriding this implementation here. Public bool equals texture other. Is this right? Do I need to have override here? Okay. It's not the overridden version, I don't think. The implemented version. Hang on. Let's do it this way just so I can get it correct, and I'll switch that back to a record. Okay, that I was pretty sure. Equals must allow overriding because the containing is not sealed. There we go. Public bool equals, and we want to check that the contents are the same. So that queue list I created when you first ran it ended up with the dice shared across all instances of the game, so it worked when I was playing it solo. As soon as I tried 2 devices, chaos ensued. Yeah. So we'll do name is equal to other.name. And Mark, thank you for the hat redeem. Let's get a hat added to this stack. Boom. Thank you so much for the hat, my friend. I appreciate you. How the heck have you been? Folks, if you guys don't know Mark, Mark is a Unity game dev, or learning Unity game dev here on Twitch. Go check him out. Be sure to give him a follow. Now, what I want to do, is there an array equality check? It's true, we got a hat stack going on here. C# check 2 arrays equal. Is there a compare method for arrays? Structural equality. I don't know if this is going to be available in .NET Standard 2. We'll find out. Array dot structural, yeah. Equals determines whether the specified objects are considered equal. I know that there's a method I can call that just checks if 2 enumerables have the same thing. Oh, I think I might be able to do data dot sequence equal. There we go. Other dot data. I think we can do this. What is this complaining about? What? I don't care about the hash code. Why didn't it complain about this when I've done this before? We might need to actually just make this a class rather than a record. I didn't think it would bother me about that because I'm not overwriting. Let's go look at something real quick. Duke, welcome back to the stream, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Dungeon. Yeah, didn't care here. I'm not overriding equals is the thing, Biffles. I'm implementing IEquatable, which is different than the equals to another object. So I can't check equality on an arbitrary object. I can only check equality against another texture. You're correct if I was doing an override of equals. You'll see if I switch this to a class, it stops complaining. This could be indicative that it's not actually a byte array. Public string name get public byte array data, like that. Could do this. So now these passed our dungeons, not dungeon, our manifest equality now works. It's still JSONable, which is great. Under test, simple, we should add go to simple here. We should add in add texture, new texture, wall. Make sure this is still. I wrote too much code before writing tests, and now I'm having to juggle around saying like, oh, did we actually test that thing? Do I actually have a way to see if this is working? Yeah, I modified too much in my manifest and stuff before writing these tests. I'm feeling a little bit better now. Good. XP, how you doing, friend? What have you been up to? Welcome back to the stream. Happy Tuesday. Okay, so we should be able to do a little bit more now. So the two things that are really important: initialize project structure and build manifest. Okay. Initialize project. Let's go into our project, close others. Build now needs to find all of our, so we want to add in another one here, get textures. Yeah, public static IEnumerable of texture, get texture names. This is interesting. Yeah, so this will be a this file system string root throw new not implemented exception, like so. Doing fine, good XP says. Started modeling on Blender, very cool. Getting the full indie game dev experience. I need to learn myself a little bit of Blender. I haven't taken the time to learn any 3D dev yet. 3D design, it looks so cool though. Let's add in a test, retrieve all texture names. Get texture names. Textures. Let's complain. Shouldn't return a this should be string. Like so. And the names, I believe we have two in our file system, Stonewall and door. retrieve all. Stone wall PNG. Wood door PNG. Like so. Okay. Mark, congratulations on number 19. Good XP says, it makes sense to me. I have prior experience with solid modeling with CAD software. Very cool. Yeah, I haven't done... Really haven't done much in 3D land. I did a bunch, not a bunch. I did like I've done some minor courses with Blender, mostly the older Blender courses. Yeah, the rigging is, I haven't even done the rigging stuff with 2D projects. So animation rigging and stuff looks really cool with 2D projects as well. All right, so this one should be pretty straightforward to do. I'm noticing a pattern here. This is essentially identical. This becomes our texture dir, like that. You'll notice I just swapped out this is the abstraction here. It's only 2 lines. I don't know if it's worth doing. This one was different because we actually only want the name. We don't need the extension on it. Yeah, but we're gonna want that here. All right, let's test that. I think that one will pass. Blender is named Blender because it makes your brain into a smoothie. JD's been doing some 3D rigging, right? Mark says, I'm so psyched every time I see a glazed and sprinkled 3D donut in an indie game. Yeah, you know that they took that course. So then I know they're real. It's the most common course. It's that everyone does that one, right? All right, so the initialized project here. Ooh, okay, so is project directory. Validate is incorrect now as well. Validate project, and file system.directory.exists path.combine root path texture there. Without the test, this would be so painful to be like manually testing. I have like a console script that I keep running and seeing whether or not these things are working. Okay. I'm surprised. I mean, I modified my test to have it. Makes sense. If you have extra stuff, it doesn't care. These are just the important ones. Okay. Initialize should do file system.directory.create directory path.combine. Devro, how you been, my friend? What have you been working on? Wonderful to see you. Speaking of incredible 3D artists, folks, Devro is amazing 3D artist. Streams his development in Unreal here on Twitch. Feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Devro, are you still streaming? What's your stream schedule these days? We're all just monkeys rotating shapes. I think that's true. That's true. Since the dawn of time, we've just been monkeys rotating shapes. All right, so this should initialize the project. And then the build manifest. Okay, so build manifest next. We need to do a for each string name in file system dot get texture names at our root path. String the is C# manifest the same as Java's manifest? I don't know that C#. I mean, they might have a manifest file. I'm not aware of a C# manifest file. Someone who knows more about C# and .NET development, correct me. This is a dungeon crawler manifest that I'm working on. The Q also sparks out as a boom, 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 bottom, timpani, do, 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 do. Yeah, also Spark Zarathustra. Now our texture name is going to be the file system dot get. Hang on, there's file system dot file dot get. Where did I do it with it? It was up here. Get file name without extension. Oh, path dot get file name without extension name. Okay. And we're gonna do a manifest dot add texture, new texture name. And then we're gonna read the bytes here. So we'll do a byte array bytes. We have to actually read all this. So file system dot file dot read all bytes from name. So I'm going to change this from name to texture path. Get texture file names. Should probably be this. Okay. Get image name, something like that. Mark says 2 months into game dev and I'm reading about a guy writing 40 math on a bridge in Dublin trying to point a 3D object in a given direction. Those quaternions will get you every time. Trying to get pupils to stick to the eyes. All right, how do we do, folks? Can we build a dungeon manifest? We can't. Oh, and it's failing right here. Could not find file stonewall.png. Interesting. Let's debug it. That is interesting. Step in. We'll return this file system. Let's build here. I'm gonna put a breakpoint down here. Okay. See, what are we doing wrong? Our texture path. Aha! There we go. Because this doesn't have the full path on there. Okay. So our text, so this is just file name. File name string path is going to be our path.combine root texture dir file name path. Found it. Proton! How the heck you doing, friend? Welcome back to the stream. It's great to have you here on this beautiful, still failing. Beautiful day. What are we failing on now? Still failing here. Could not find file stonewall.png. What did I do? Did I even, oh, this is still file, hang on, file name. This should be path. I should be able to just do this. Get rid of you. All right, let's do a format there. So why I write test, I'm not good. I got to baby proof this for myself because I'm not good enough to write it right the first time. And I'm certainly not good enough to come back and refactor. Like, come on. How are we failing now? Okay, now it's just saying they're not equal. Let's look at this here. Let's see what they are down at the end. Turn off these breakpoints. And then see what we were expecting. I shouldn't be taking off the PNG is what it is, isn't it? Yeah. This should just be file name. How bad I'm at this. Okay, clearly I need to look harder. Okay. Actual has 2 textures. This is what we want it to be. Ours here. Stone wall. We're taking the PNG off. I'm just putting file name here directly. Oh, I expected it to not have that on there. Okay, so this should be texture name then. The actual had it. I was expecting it not to have it. Why does this... Still failing. Let's try again. The equality check might be broken. Let's eyeball it one more time. And see what's going on with it. Expected. Actual 232. We should have two here. Stonewall. Stonewall. 012. 012. Bet my equality check is just not written properly. I should change this as well, not be 012 to make this test slightly better. 012 wood door. 278. You know why? I know what's going on here. I have a bad test. The expected should be 278. Okay. Will it build? Can we build a dungeon, folks? Let's find out. There we go. All right. Can build our manifest. And our dungeon serializes and deserializes. Our manifests, our manifest is JSONable. This simple does have a texture in it. Okay. Let's get this committed. Commit-m. Feature project should. There's a bunch of things we did here. Project should is really dungeon manifest should have textures. Okay, that's really what we implemented there. So now that our manifest has textures, I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Proton. We're making a ton of progress here. We're prepping for Dungeon Crawler Jam 2024, which starts on Friday. So we're trying to build an engine in time for that. Which is, I probably should have started a little sooner, but I was on a trip the first 11 days of March, so I didn't really get started until last, a little bit over a week ago. So I started this on, like the 6th, 7th. So almost 2 weeks now is how long I've been working on this. It's true, JD. I be tripping. I was tripping. And now I'm back. I want to, in our editor, I want to be able to specify a default texture. Heading into a city for a conference? Nice. Nice. So our dungeon... Yeah, this is interesting. There's a lot of interesting things going here. Our dungeon needs to... Oh, the trip was fantastic. We did kayaking, we did rope climbing, we did hiking, we did some astronomy. I need to have a wall texture map. So I need to have a wall texture map. So there's a new thing I need to have. Wall map is more about movement. Can we move through areas? The question is, should my wall map also have the texture mapping associated with it? For rendering, I kind of feel like, no, it should be separated. Keep that logic a little bit different. And the reason I'm saying that is that our tile edge cares about positioning. So our wall map, so the way our tile edge works, our wall map is set up in the following way. And if we have this, let's go with green. This wall here has these two definitions. So we have, let's call this 0, 0, and we'll call this 1, 0. This wall here is 0, 0 east or 1, 0 west. These two things are equal in wall map land, so movement land. In texture land, so this is wall map land. In wall texture land, this is not true. This is not true in wall texture land. In wall texture land, these are not equal. The index here, because when I'm outside of a building, I might have one texture on this side and another texture on this side. So they're not equal in this world. So wall texture land, not equal. So it's important for movement to know what type of wall there is there, but for rendering, it's important to be able to distinguish those two things. Okay. When we come back, we're gonna implement this. I got to take a quick break. We've been going for almost 2 hours here. Try and take a break at 90 minutes, but I get so excited about these things. We got our test passed in, so I think I need to do this. Dramlux, you're going for it. I wonder what Mooniz is at. Do we need to check Mooniz? Fresh meat. Thank you for the hat redeem. We're gonna give you a bonus hat when I come back because I reset my hat stack after. Thank you for the hat redeem. We are about to take a break, but when I come back, we'll get that hat back on for you. You get a bonus hat redeem. Biffles, great question. We did, we're doing the trial run with it. We adopted the dog on Sunday. Dusty, our current dog, gets along with her very, very well. They played a bunch. It was absolutely beautiful to watch them playing and having fun together. Sunday was an awesome day for them. Yesterday was a little bit different. The Lumen says, how's it going? Why does TDD suck? It can feel like you're not making progress with it. You have to warp your mind a little bit to do it. What I will say is for prototyping, writing test is hard. Unit testing is really, really hard for something that you don't have a specification for. Or it's more difficult if you don't have a full specification. Also, the Lumen, welcome back to the stream. I do think test-driven development is tricky. I've gone back and forth with how I feel about it. I'm really enjoying it on this project. That said, I'm not testing everything. I'm just testing. I'm liking to write the tests. ahead of time because they make me think through how I want to interact with my code. Is it perfect? No. Do I find it's helping me with my thought process? Yes. Do I like it? 75% of the time. Let's say 75%. For rapid prototyping, testing can be very troublesome. But if you want something, one of the reasons I'm writing tests though, is I want my project to be open source and I want people to be able to join the jam. Contribute to this project. I checked with Zuperdan. Zuperdan said there's no limit on team size. So if people want to open pull requests and contribute to this project, absolutely. It's mad, exactly. They help with refactoring. So when I change code, does something break or does it still operate the way I thought it does? And intention, you can look at the code and say, this is how it's supposed to work. It's how you're supposed to interact with it. I like that a lot. All right, we do have to take a break. I will be back in about 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're going to top off our bean water. We're going to get ourselves some more fresh water. Hang tight. I shall return. All right, everybody, I'm back. We had a leftover hat redeemed from Fresh Meat. Thank you so much for the hat redeem, my friend. Let's get this new hat stack started. There it is. There it is, Fresh Meat. Wonderful to have you here. Napalm, welcome back to the stream, my friend. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a beautiful day. All right, when we left off, where our hero left off previously, we had just implemented a manifest so we can add in textures to our project here, add in files here to interact with. What I want to do is create in our dungeon, we need this idea of textures in our dungeon. And I want to create something called a texture wall map. And it's going to work a little bit differently than our wall map because the edges on it are different. So in our map, I might even make a folder here for textures. New folder, texture. I'm going to put the default texture in here. And I want to have in a texture wall map or a wall textures map. I want this idea of a wall texture map. And what does it do? It, given a position and a direction, we want to be able to know what texture we should use. I want to have a generic, a default texture that we're going to use. And it's going to be a reference to the texture, not the texture itself. So it's going to be the name of the texture to use, not the actual texture. The actual texture has the data in it. We don't want to be passing, we don't want to put that all over the place. Instead, it's going to be the name of the texture we should use. So we're going to be able to go ahead and look it up because in our renderer, we're going to take this data and we're going to turn it into another mapping. We don't have the actual, like this is going to be a material that we end up using. We put it on this surface. Our wall texture map is going to have references. So it's sort of like going to be a string to a texture reference. I might even just make it, just for sanity purposes, it might make sense to create a class, a record called texture reference. This is just the only reason this class exists is to give us extra information about this string type. It's a string wrapped inside of this record here. So what's a record? Is that a C# thing? It's a C# thing. Let's go look at the IL C# IL. What is the website? I can never remember. C# intermediate language. Record is a C# thing that lets us do. What's the website that I can use? I forget what it's called. Decompile show decompiled C# online. Sharp Lab. I need to bookmark this. So if I do a record, public record, texture, ref, string, name, it compiles into a class on our behalf. So it compiles down to a class. The class has a read-only field called name. We get a toString for free. We get a not equals for free. We get a hash code for free. We get a dot equals for free. We get an equality check for free. So we get a bunch of stuff for free. We get a free deconstruct. We get free strings. That's right, Dram. So you can think of a record as a very simple read-only class. And so it's useful because now if I wanted to print this thing out, it'd say texture reference name. Texture reference. Okay. And so it's just gonna be like the name of the texture. We could do this with just a string. But I think this adds meaning to the string. If equals uses equatable equals and you override the equatable equals, is the IDE smart enough to tell you to write a hash function? No, do you need to override IEquatable get hash? Should get hash be implemented IEquatable? Get hash code should not be implemented for mutable types for reasons that it could undesirable behavior. Mutable classes work quite bad with dictionaries, yep, that rely on get hash code. The scenario describing, so what I'll say is, this is interesting. Why don't I need setters? It's immutable data. So I can't change this name once it's created. That's one of the things I'm going for with the record. It wasn't Biffle, so it was not smart enough. It thought I was overriding the method, but I wasn't. So what I'll say here is, if I just have this interface, it's okay to, it doesn't complain that I didn't do hash code. So I think the answer to that is, oh, is that what was happening? Sorry, I didn't read the whole question. I think my ID was not smart enough. Don't you need to init them? Yeah, so public static class example, public void, public static do void, void do thing. Texture reference ref equals, I can't call it ref, text ref equals new, wood, text ref dot name. Like that. It's initialized. I did it. So this gives us a constructor that has this pattern in it. Does record just act like a string essentially? Don't you need the init flag on the field, I mean? Why? For what reason? What do I need the init flag on? Can I don't think I can do that. Maybe I can. Name equals Bob. Hey, look, I can do it. Won't let me do it that way, but I can do it this way. Enjoy your day, Biffles. Thank you so much for lurking. Have a beautiful day. I think it gives it to us for free. I wish I hadn't closed the... I already forgot what it was called. What was the website called? Sharp Lab. Let's put this there. So much. I know, can I pet the dog? Of course you can pet the dog. So we get it when we do a record. We get text string name. You'll notice this compiles so that we actually have an init. We get a get and a init. So it's pretty cool. Jibster, welcome back, by the way. So record does some cool stuff for us. Yeah, gotcha. Well, what's the use case for record? It's just essentially like a string you can pass around. You're saying why am I doing this rather than just passing the thing? It's giving a meaning to this string. So it's sort of a marker class. It's giving a meaning to the string. The string could just be anything, but it's a texture reference. I don't need it. I could do it without it, I think. All it's doing is giving a meaning, saying, hey, this string isn't just an arbitrary string. The string is actually referencing a texture. So it's saying that inside of my project somewhere, there is data backing this thing, hopefully. I don't need it. The answer is that I don't actually need this thing. We could do it without it. But in my mind, it felt like I wanted it. The way anyone can look at the code and know what the intent is. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. But maybe, you know, look, this is me overcomplicating something. So let's not do it. Let's not do it. I'm making it too complicated. Namespace Captain Coder dot dungeoneering dot dungeon map. Public class wall texture map. We'll have a tile texture map later as well. This is our wall texture map. And the methods that we're going to include here. Yeah, I think I was about to over-engineer. Really? Oh, it's because I want to have some safety methods here for when I call this thing. The end of the day, what does this data structure look like? How do I want to interact with this thing? In my project, I need some getters and setters. So I want to get a public. Here's why. Because public get texture name. And I'm going to give it a position and a get texture name position and a, wondering if it should be over here. Position and a facing. All right, so given a wall texture map, given a position and a facing, give me back the texture that should be there. Void set texture. And this one's going to be a position, facing, string, texture name. Okay, so this is sort of the interface I want to be able to get a thing, give it a position and facing, and set a thing, given a position and a facing. There is a little bit, so by creating the record, it gives more meaning to this string. It might be an iTexture reference. That might make more sense. And then the reference knows how to get the bytes or something along those lines. But at the end of the day, I just care about this string here. I also want to have a default texture when we create this thing. I want my constructor to default texture like that. Yeah. I like this. There's a default wall texture. It's gonna be 3 default door texture and a default secret wall texture. So those are the types of walls I have. So I've got my wall types. I have a none, solid, door, secret. Default, solid wall type. Sorry, wall, secret door texture. I'll go default texture, default door texture, default secret door texture. Default string, default door string, default secret. And I guess I don't have to do secret. Default solid. Default solid. So where my naming is bad. Default door. Default secret door. Solid door secret. I'm gonna go with this just for now. And then my underlying implementation is gonna be interesting. Maybe not super interesting, but let's write a little test for this. This is our texture. I'll put that inside of editor here. Create a new file, wall. Texture map should wall texture map should Sky Driver. I'm doing absolutely wonderful, my friend. I'm feeling great, feeling hyped. I'm getting so excited for the Dungeon Crawler Jam this week, starting on Friday. How about you? How the heck have you been? Welcome back to the stream. I'm glad to have you here on this beautiful day. Dejego Dev. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. Dejego Dev. I would like to welcome you today to the crew. Dejego Dev, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Captain Coders Academy. Skydriver says, I just came back from an appointment at the hospital. I'm fine. I'm glad to hear you're fine. Doctor approved fine. Not just fine, you're doctor approved fine. So we want to be able to get in set. There's one little thing here, something we could do to ensure that this isn't like setting things incorrect. We'd have like a manifest associated with it as well. Irad, thank you for the hat redeem. Get a hat added to this stack. Boom, there it is. Dejego Dev asks, could you tell a little bit more about your plan for the jam? Absolutely. That's an actual command. Gotcha. Irad, thank you for the hat redeem. Welcome to the stream. So Dejego Dev, the jam starts on Friday. Okay, so this is DC Jam 2024. I participated last year. It was absolutely phenomenal. So much fun. We have 3 days, 3 hours left to prepare. My plan right now is to try and build an engine. So I don't know what the theme is. I haven't written a story, but I'm building an engine for creating a dungeon crawler. So my plan so far is to make sure I have some very basic, I don't know if basic is quite right, but my plan is to have tooling necessary to focus mostly on the design aspects of the game. What is the game? And I don't have to think about the, like, how am I going to get my map drawn? How am I going to do my movement controls? How am I going to script things in the game? So I've been building this little engine here to get it working. So this is our map editor. All right. So this particular one's the map editor. We can create new maps. We can load different maps. So here's like a randomly generated map here. We can add scripts in different locations. So there's a script in this location. Let's go back to my town. In my town, there are some scripts here. When I enter this space, it runs leave tavern.lua. When I enter this space, it runs tavern.lua. So I can write scripts for my project here. So the tavern one says, if I'm not in the tavern, it says the smell of the ale surrounds you. When you leave, it says, if I was in the tavern, it says the fresh air embraces you. And I can take this, I can turn it into this Unity project here. Let me reload it. Yeah, I integrated Lua into the oh, let me hang on. I gotta launch this again. I killed this. .NET serve here. So let's open up this. So here, and then I take the file that I build, I drop it into Unity, and Unity can render it. So I'm working on getting the textures today. So right now it's just like a generic texture, but here is the door on my map. When I step in, the script runs, the smell of ale surrounds you. So I can focus on just writing the game itself, like the content of the game, without thinking about, well, what are the implementation deals too much of like what special things I have to when I leave it runs this. I also have it set up so I can, also it's just a fun project for me. I have like this interpreter built in so I can change my dungeon here. Random was the other one that you saw. Let's go to position 1-0 facing west. Okay, here's 1-0 facing west. When I step into this spot here, there's a script here that teleports me. I thought it did, maybe it didn't. I missed the part of Lunar. Did you use a library to achieve that, or what was the methodology in general? It is using Moonsharp is what I'm using. So Moonsharp is a Lua interpreter that is written entirely in C#. So we can put that into a Unity project and it works with the WebGL builds. This took quite some time for me to figure out how to get it working in the web builds. It works super fine right out of the box for non-web builds. For the web build, there was some finagling I had to do because the IL2CPP, so the Intermediate Language to C++ compiler, was stripping out a bunch of information that was causing it. So now I have you appear in a different location. So this was an on exit here that teleports me. So now I'm in a different spot. If I were to go return context.player view, we'll see that I got teleported to 7.8 here. All right. CPP, yeah. There's you got a CPP. Okay. So that's what I have so far, Diego. This project, I'm having a lot of fun. We've been working on it for about 2 weeks now. It's fully open source on GitHub. I mean, well, JD, that's like your opinion. Thank you for the cloud of disapproval. I'm sorry you don't like to CPP. Let's, yeah, so our wall texture map, this is what we're doing right now. All right, so close others, wall texture map should. The things this has are get and set texture names. That's why I wear glasses. I thought you preferred, what's wrong with CPP? Oh boy. Maybe, apparently, maybe I shouldn't be adding that term. It's letting me permit. Oh boy, oh. Okay. It's showing up as a, just so you guys see here. It was trying to ban your messages as they're coming in. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Now we're gonna get all kinds of scary things. Okay, we have a wall texture map. What should it do? We need to be able to get and set texture names at positions. And the important part is that two walls, each wall has a different face on either end. That is the important thing to be able to do here. Let's start with the fact. Public void should get texture name. I'm realizing this is going to need to be have some the internal representation is going to need to be visible to us because I'm going to need to JSON this. So I'm wondering I'm going to, at the end of the day, this internally going to have a dictionary from position and facing to a string like this. This is really what the internal representation is. Textures. Can specify that when we construct this, what the textures are. And we want to be able to modify this thing. You should interact with it through these things. If I wanted to make this private, I would need to mark it as a JSONable field, but my IO is in a different one. So I'm kind of not liking that, but that's okay. There's going to be issues with this. Okay. So there's a few things. Public void should be JSONable. Okay, so we want to be able to JSON this thing. Assert.fail. We need to be able to save it. Not implemented. Public void should be able to get textures. Giving away those JDs. Get texture. We want to be able to set texture. We want to opposite should not set opposite should set texture, get texture. I want to make the thing I want to make sure is that each side of the wall has to should have texture on each side of wall. We want get default texture. A wall has no. My walls have 2 visible faces, Smab. I know you think there's a sidewall, but my walls are paper thin. J Makes Game, welcome back to the stream. My walls are paper thin. It's 2 planes, yeah. Now let me where is VS Code? I lost it. All right. 6021. My walls are paper thin. And we're just going to make sure that, so it looks like they're not. I've seen your render that had non-paper. That was last year. Technically, I have it. You are correct. We could have 4. I'm not gonna worry about that for now. Ryan, great to see you. Welcome back to the stream. Happy Tuesday, my friend. Good morning to you as well. Change dungeon. So I have these paper thin walls. Really, I think at the end, the reason I don't actually think, I think we're going to be using an atlas as well. So I have, we can't see him here. Apparently I'm trapped. That was a bad position to teleport to. Yeah, so, my paper thin walls. See, my walls are paper thin. So we can't see it. Danny McGee, happy to have you here. Welcome to the stream. Gabriel, great to have you here as well. The man who wears many hats. It's true. Not just 2. Well, 2 right now. I'm having a wonderful day. Gabriel, you have the power, potentially. If you have enough points, you have the power to add hats to this stack. Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. Yeah, so I decided that I'm gonna do it that way, so I don't have to deal with the weird corner thing on my thick walls. And if I decide to do thick walls, I'm gonna add in. We'll deal with that when we get to it. I actually think we're gonna end up with just 2D. I think we're gonna end up with an atlas and not a 3D render at the end of the day as well. What are we learning today? We are learning about textures. We're learning about textures today. This will be equal to a new dictionary. Set to have texture on each side of wall. This is interesting here. This is gonna get our... Okay. This is interesting. I'm realizing... we might not do this secret door thing. I might get rid of secret door. Or if we have a texture at this spot, you can think of a dictionary. Dictionary is a class that, if you know what an array is, a dictionary can be thought of as an array that has indices that are objects. So you can index things by an object. I'm realizing that my doors here, I'm just going to make it so that, yeah, there's something really interesting here. How do I know whether or not to get the door or the map if I don't have my wall map connected here? So I need some extra information coming in. Here. So when I look at... I'm realizing I have a minor issue. Today you're learning about C#. Awesome. Awesome. I love me some C#. I don't know if we'll use secret doors. We need to know, what is the joke about C#, Brian? I'm not sure. I may know. There's probably many jokes about C#. Could you do the old game thing and make the plane not have a C# collider? That's sort of what my secret doors do right now. It's not just, I don't actually have any colliders, but I can move through a secret door. So if I go into my wall map here, in my let's go to wall type. Wall type is passable. I have this thing here that says whether or not I can pass through it. I can pass through anything that's not solid is essentially how it works. But the idea being this, you know, the only reason I did this is because in Dungeon Master you have secret doors, and there's a spell you can cast that will tell you if a wall is actually a hidden passage. It might be, hidden passage might be a better term for it. That I can see sharp. You know, it's you know, maybe I can, maybe I can't. It's a good. It is a joke though. You know, you can see sharp. It's like it's you know, is there a little bit more to the joke that you can see sharp? It's true that I can see sharp, but like see as invisible. I don't get it. I guess I don't get it. What's the setup about what? So there, I think that's the punchline. What is the setup to that joke? Get texture name, set texture. It feels like these should be extension methods. on a wall map itself. Wall texture map extensions. So it's more that given a wall map and a wall texture map, really this needs to be a dungeon. Oh, it's so interesting. Walls. So I think this is more of what we want. So this is a pure data object. Have a beautiful day, Ryan. Thank you so much for coming by. I'm never gonna give up. Never gonna give it up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. Have a beautiful day. We'll catch you again soon. So it's really like we have a wall map and we can say get texture name. And part of me is thinking this might need to be a dungeon. I really think this is what we want, dungeon. Like this. Yeah, this is just a data holder. And the way our dungeon interacts with, given a dungeon, a position and a facing, what is the texture name? And we can look it up on this wall texture map here. I think this makes sense. Because now we can say, okay, well, if there's no texture there, I know what type of wall I should get back. Okay, so I like this better. This map says it's the time of year again. Just signed up for build. Very cool. Is that I feel like I should know what that is. Send me a link, Smab. I'm assuming that's like a conference. Is it an online conference? I'm assuming it's a C# conference thing. I could be, or .NET thing. I'd love to know more. Okay. Microsoft Build 2024. Okay, awesome. Is it online? Or is it in person? Online this year. Very cool. Awesome. Okay. So this becomes part of Dungeon. We still need this to be JSONable. We actually don't care about the... Yeah, this really simplifies this test for wall texture map. And instead our dungeon should... Okay. We could keep it separated in here as well. Fact. Public void. Dungeon should get texture, get wall texture. All right. All of these things essentially. Get default texture, get texture, get default wall texture, get default, get wall texture, set wall texture, have texture on each side of wall. You haven't been in person since 2008. Where is it held this year? And I could look all this stuff up. If you want to just send a link if I'm asking too many questions. Feel free to ignore me. Yeah, so this makes more sense here. Seattle. Ooh, maybe I could attend. Is it this summer? Hang on, I got a dog crying in the other room. I might have to go. But I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. But I'm gonna go check. Also, all right, I gotta go check on the dog. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about the dog was just whining. We have a new dog that we just adopted. She's being a little bit whiny. People are sleeping, so I was just checking in with the dog, making sure she's okay. The sun is coming up, so I let her outside. Might have to go check on her a little bit. We have about 20 minutes left, and then I got to get to work. But I just had to check in on her. I didn't want her waking people up. Let the other one out. Captain Enosa, she's like kind of scared to come into my office. She's new, but hopefully soon. I'll post some pictures on the Discord, actually. If you guys want to see the pictures of the dog, I'll try and post them on Discord today so you guys can see them. So feel free to hop on the Discord if you want to join in on that. She's a beautiful dog. She looks kind of like a mountain lion. She's a German Shepherd. Golden German Shepherd. So Jay Sonable here. Let's see if we can write this Jay Sonable one. I think... Oh, it's not going to work out of the box for this, but let's see if we can write a test for this. I think we can actually do this. I'm going to set the default to be default wall.png, default door.png, default secret.png. Default secret door. Okay. Should we use kebab case or underscores? What should be our naming convention here? All right, JSONable. Let's create a theory. So it's going to take in a wall texture map under test. The equality check. Yeah, so this isn't going to work out of the gate. We'll have to do some stuff with it. Let's add in a member data here. Dungeon should. It's going to look like this. We'll make a few of these. Okay. And it's going to be a theory. Inline data. Member data. BJSonable data. Name of. Like that. And we are going to have, we'll create 2 of these. Default, we'll just do a new wall texture map. It's interesting that that doesn't work. Oh, it does, just other ones. We'll add in simple and more. Simple, and then we'll add in non-defaults. We'll add one called with textures. Okay, so we'll create a couple of these. We'll do a public static wall texture map non-defaults. No, we'll have a getter for this. Throw new not implemented exception. And then we'll do another one with textures. Okay. This one's going to return, we'll create a return. One we can actually do. New wall texture map, and then we can do it this way. Since we defined this with initializer, I believe we could do it this way. Non-defaults, we're gonna do our default door equals wood.png, default solid, door.png. I'm realizing we should have done, oh, I did do .png. Door, wood, we'll do wood, door, stone, wall. Default secret door is stone, wall, variant.png. Okay. Let's do another one here that is going to be a new wall texture map. And we'll initialize this again. But this one's going to have different dictionary. So this should have textures equals new dictionary. We'll do an initializer like this. And the initializer will go from a new position 5,7 facing dot north, comma, stone wall dot png. Okay, we'll add a few entries here. Five seven south. Really, to make it a little bit different, this would be 6 south, Stonewall, variant, tavern. Let's go with tavern wall. 3 facing east. We'll do one more with just a facing west. 0 0 facing west. All this well wall. Okay. Our test here is basically going to look like all of our other JSONs. We are going to do a JSON extensions dot to JSON under test string JSON, and we want to be able to serialize and deserialize it. So now we have this here. We'll do a JSON sections dot load model. We're going to load a wall texture map here from this JSON. We'll do wall texture map restored, and we should say restored dot should be what we passed in under the test. So we're going to serialize it and deserialize it, and they should be identical. They should have an EQ on them. Saying this can be simplified. There we go. We don't need all of this. So we have that test now. We have a bunch of failing tests now. And we got to get these working. And then we should be able to start adding these into our editor. Assuming this thing builds. Okay. You should start failing. This JSONable one we're gonna fix first, because I think we can finish that one really quick. We just had to add a converter. Let's see if it fails first. It may actually be able to pass. Pretty sure it's gonna fail. Yeah. And it's saying it can't figure out how to deserialize it. So let's go into our JSON extensions. I called it something silly. It really should be called JSON extensions. I call it model extensions. I suppose calling it model extensions might make sense though. Model extension. I like the JSON extensions on there. Ronders! Thank you so much for the Jern face, the big old Jern face. That's hilarious. I love that so much. So a converter here, we just need to know how to serialize position and spacing here. And this should serialize to a string. I think adding this is all we need to do. Build is coming up. Oh no. I really thought this was going to be how we do it. Okay, so it restored, but okay. So now our equality check on a wall texture map, we need to implement IEquatable with another wall texture map. Okay. So we can serialize now, but to check that these two things are identical, we need to do, I have an extension here, textures dot should, textures dot all key value pairs are equal with other dot textures. Okay, so we have that. Wall texture map should be JSONable. Yeah, it's actually not correct here. Okay. Because these are different. All of those need to be the same as well. Yeah, so let's add in a test here. So it should have EQable and not EQable. Okay, so there's a little bit of a test here that is fact. Almost wrote a bug here. Void be equal. All right, we have another one, fact. Void be not equal. We're gonna have a false positive here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say two identical maps. Yeah, so we'll do with textures dot should be with textures. All right, so this one's gonna pass. What we want to do though is we'll do with textures. Let's make this actually constructs a new one each time. To make that more clear, I might want to put this. I'm gonna rename this make with textures. Make it a little bit more clear that it's constructing a thing here. These should not be EQable. I think I can do it pretty easily here with the following. Non-defaults dot should not be equal to a new wall. Come on, new wall texture map. Ken Kajiro, welcome back to the stream, my friend. I hope you're having a beautiful Tuesday. Welcome aboard. I believe, will this automatically add my new tests in here? I feel like in the past that has not been the case. Okay, be not equal here. So this is the false positive, the be equal and not be equal to data. And so in my texture map here, my equality is failing because this should do default solid should be equal to other dot default solid, and default door should be equal to other dot default door, and default secret door should be equal to other dot default secret door. Now it should be. There we go. All right, let's get a commit in. Feature wall texture map should be equal, not equal, JSONable. Now our dungeon should, these are the ones that we need to implement next here. Well, we need to write these tests actually. Get default wall texture. So there's some interesting stuff here because in our dungeon, we need to be able to specify some things. Wait, our dungeon is serializable? How is our dungeon serializable? Even though these are private set? Wait a second. Are we serializing dungeons? With a private set? Can I do that? Apparently I can do that. That is really interesting to me. Wall texture map. Wall textures. I want this to be inittable. Like that. And the tests, 8 minutes. We got 8 minutes. Folks, if you have someone you would like me to raid, feel free to start searching for someone. I love to raid people who are new to Twitch or new to game. We're going to be hopefully keeping it in game dev. Game dev, C# related stuff is what I'm looking for. If you know someone who you'd like to raid, let me know. And we'll take a look at some of them. Yeah, so hope if anyone knows anyone, let me know. I like to raid new people. If not, we'll look at my friends. Let's see who we got in there to raid as well. But if you know someone who is new to Twitch, new to streaming, we got a lot of new people. I'd love to raid into them. Full Box, Biggs, or Timbo Dare, always cool. Yeah, I love all three great options. Biggs is usually wrapping up around this time, but we might check in. Patrick, congratulations on number 21. Welcome back to the stream, my friend. Great to have you here. So we want to get a default wall texture. So if we make just a default dungeon, we should be able to dungeon.get texture name at a position. Really, this should be anywhere 7.5 facing north. The name should be our default name. I'm gonna go into my wall texture map here. I'm gonna create some const, public const. That's interesting. This is interesting. I'm I'm wondering if maybe... Oh, yeah, we want to be able to set the default one there. Kevin says, I got a meeting I need to go to. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome. Thank you for hanging out. I learned a lot. That AI-generated 3D texture tool is cool. Yeah, Polycam's really cool. Remember to keep coding, keep growing, keep being the best you can be, Captain Osa. Folks, Captain Osa is also a streamer. Go check him out. See if we can... Thinking of adding in some... We could just keep these hard-coded. Patrick, thank you for the hat redeem. Let's get a hat added to this stack. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. No problem, Captain Enosa. All right. Feel like these const string public string default solid name. Feel weird about this, but we should be able to specify default solid texture. Let's go with this. Default door texture. Default secret door texture. This feels weird. It is a hat stack. That's right. We got a stack of hats. Door. This feels dumb. Someone tell me if there's a better way to do this. Default door texture. Default secret door texture. Okay. String actual. And we should end up with, there's some interesting things here. Actual dot should be dungeon wall texture map dot default solid texture. So I need a map that has like different types in there. So I do think we need to have a theory here. What are our inputs though? We're going to take in an X, an int Y, a facing, a wall type, and then this is what we need to take in. So inline, because we want it to work for all of this, all of those type 0. I don't even know that we need to take in these things. Really, we just need to take in a wall type. Yeah, so then we'll have wall type dot solid secret and door. What does it return on none is an interesting question. I think on none it'll return just solid. Because there shouldn't be a texture if there's no wall there. So that's an interesting thing. Maybe it should throw an exception. And then we need to have string expected. Okay. So for solid, it's going to be our wall texture map dot default solid texture. Default secret door texture. Default door texture, like that. And we're gonna create, so inside of our dungeon, we need to create, it's just gonna get a default one. Awesome. New position. We need to add a wall. So our dungeon dot wall map. This is interesting. I can make this our dungeon. Let's make this inittable. Let's make this inittable. I really like this being inittable here. And we'll do our wall map. New wall map. Because our wall map has a constructor where we can initialize it using an INumerable like this. Yeah. New wall map. And we're going to put in a new... Let's go double check here. Tile edge wall type. Yeah, so tile edge. New tile edge. New position 0, 0. Facing dot north. And then we'll specify that we want this to be the type of wall. There we go. And this becomes 0, 0 north. We'll pull out that thing there. And then we'll get that, and it should be expected. There we go. This is the test for this. Mendoza, how you doing on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday? Okay. So that's our test for get default wall texture. We just basically set a wall to a specific type. Let's do opposite. Yeah, we just set a wall to a specific thing, check the type, and then we should actually get that value back. Okay. Get wall texture. Now we need to be able to specify a wall texture at a specific location. What does this look like? Our wall map now. We want to be able to put it in. You EDT people, I'm in Pacific time for what it's worth. Yeah, so there's a little bit of something we have to do here as well. So it's similar to here, wall type. We are doing some unit testing here. That's correct, Zalos. Welcome back to the stream, my friend. We're doing a little bit of unit testing. Our wall map, we need to be able to assign a texture there. So get a wall texture. So our wall textures, it's true, we do rarely see that in game dev. I've been enjoying it. So there are parts of game dev that are really hard to test. So Zalos, what I'll say is I am building a engine. The engine has a lot of testable components. And so I'm trying to write things that are testable. That said, you know, let's create a new wall texture map. And this is going to have the textures is going to be equal to a new dictionary. And it's going to be initialized like this. So this position, like that, expected. This needs to be curly braces. And this is just a position like that. Okay. This is interesting. It's a tuple. There we go. So we have our tile edge, north type. We're gonna go ahead and make the texture be this. Get texture name should be the expected one. So we should be able to say, okay, well, we're going to actually put in new textures. We'll call this wall variant.png. Great question, Ken Kajiro. You absolutely, anyone, you're always welcome to ask any question you want. Just keep them PG related. Wall door variant.png. I've been doing I've been working on learning game dev for about 2 years. I have 20-ish, I would say 20-ish years of experience as doing like software development, like getting paid to do it. About 20 years. I've been programming for over 26 years, 28 years. What did it see? 29 years. I've been programming for 29 years. I'm getting paid to program for about 20 years, a little more than 20 years. That said, I don't think you need that much time to do this type of stuff. It's all about just growing and leveling up as you go and getting experience. I think what I always tell people is you can get here in a few years. You can start making real software in a few weeks. You can't get to this without going through a process of learning it by learning through trial and fire, kind of. Door variant. So this builds up, puts the texture in the position I'm expecting here. But look, 10 years younger. I started programming when I was very young. Yeah, awesome. Ken Kajiro, you can do it. You can do it. I'd say anyone can do it. Some people enjoy doing it. I would say if you don't enjoy doing it, that's different story. Some people want to do it but don't enjoy it. All right, so this is our get wall texture here. Started on an Apple II. Nice. Chief Multi-Hats, welcome back to the stream. Great to have you here. Oh, I have so much fun with it. It's all about, in my mind, there's all this problem solving that goes into it. And it's super, super fun. Okay. Set wall texture. I feel like I should, so the types of thing you learn as you're going is like, this initialization, this setup process is really annoying. It'd be really nice if I could mock this data, but then I'd have to be an interface. Maybe it would have made sense to create an interface for it. Started in a TI-82 plus calculator. I programmed in a TI-84 for years. I was talking to my girlfriend about that the other day. It was pre-Apple II SMAB. That's okay. Look, we all have an origin story. Some are more epic than others, and yours is absolutely epic, my friend. So setting the wall texture here. This is cool. So we're gonna create a dungeon. If anyone knows in VS Code what command I can run to clear these squiggly lines, let me know. I don't know how to clear these squiggly lines. And I don't have time to look it up, but if someone knows off the top of your head the command to say clear the line tests so that they go away, because they're driving me crazy, please let me know. So we're gonna create a new dungeon here. And we want to be able to set the texture. So do dungeon.set texture at a new position 0, 0. This one actually doesn't care about the type of door, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool. Yeah, if you set a texture, it's just going to get that texture back. Facing dot north. So we can actually give it a position here. No, because these tests fail. Right? Oh, I guess a build will make them move to the correct spot. Oh, you're saying will a build go? .NET build, not running the test. I don't think a build makes them go away. Let's try build. This is gonna be all upset and complain to us, actually. It's a good question. That'd be nice. Yeah, build doesn't make them go away. The red lines are unit test fails. So you'll notice assert fail used to be here and it got moved. Let's go with an int x, int y facing spacing, and then string texture name. Okay. So we can do an X, we can do a Y, we can do a facing, and then the texture name, like this. And this should actually modify the internal data here. So we do dungeon dot wall textures dot textures at new position 0 x y facing. We'll say this is the actual string actual dot should be texture name. Okay. And so we'll make this into a theory. Apparently deleting the line made it go away. I don't know why it didn't go away on these other ones here. Fascinating. I am boozled by that. Oh no, the line, it's just above it now. Okay. All right. 5, 7 facing dot north wood dot png 0, 3, 9, 2, 1, 17 Balint east, south, west. Balint, how you doing, you beautiful human? Brick, stone, dirt. Folks, you guys know Balint, incredible human being, incredible science communicator, incredible scientist. Go check out Science, folks. You won't be disappointed. I guarantee it. Ooh, Zalos, that sounds awful. We were playing around with Mocking.io just a few days ago. So this is one where we want to make sure that we have texture on each side of a wall. And I think this one I can be a little bit more specific about it, explicit about it. Because this is going to be doing a set and a get. So I want to be able to do a set and a get and have a texture on each side of a wall. And I don't want to... Maybe I do. Maybe I don't care. So we can go... Let's write it out first. Dungeon equals new. Dungeon.set texture, new position, 5, 5, facing north, wood.png. And we're gonna go up 1, so this would be 4. 4 goes up 1, and we're facing south. And this should be stone.png. So we're gonna be able to change it on each side of a wall here. Set texture. Give me a second here. My brain's figuring it out. I'm looking at the clock is why I'm going, uh-oh. Get texture at new position 5, 5. This looks silly. Honestly, don't think I need this have here. I think you can Control-Shift-P to load the command palette, then type reload window. Yeah, but then I have to reload the whole window. Yes, Tommy, Tommy's me. Tommy's me. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you here. I actually don't think I need to have texture on each side of wall. This is sort of doing it for me here. Yeah, I got it. Hilarious. All right. Anyway, I'm about to run my tests here. Make sure we build. .NET test. To me, Sami. It's a me, Tom. We'll run these tests. They should all fail. I don't have time to implement it right now. I'll probably implement it off stream. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna raid someone. We could raid some friends. We'll probably raid Beegs. Beegs has raided us recently, so we'll raid Beegs in a minute. Yeah, so rerunning them. Yeah, that's correct, Smab. Rerunning them is going to fix them now. Yeah, there we go. It was just while I was writing that code, it was annoying. All right, so now we got these tests ready to go. I got to get to work. I am open to some suggestions. Folks, I got to get out of here. We'll be back same time tomorrow. It's proof that bad camel casing breaks dev. Folks, be sure to join us on the Discord. Where you can stay informed of what we're doing. We'll be back tomorrow. Click that follow button if you want to know when I go live. I also do it on Discord. Let's see. Come back. So we got Beegs usually getting off about this time, but let's take a look here. You're welcome, Mendoza. Thank you. Let's see, how long has Beegs been going? It's been going for 4-ish hours. Let's raid IRAD Dev. We haven't raided IRAD Dev in a long time. Let's do it. Raid IRAD Dev. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to keep coding. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep being the best we can be. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.